throughout the late 40s, the 50s, throughout the 60s, Weeki Wachee was the crown jewel of Florida tourism. It predated Disney and all the other parks that you find in Orlando. Today, to have this type of park still exist, I think is just a treasure here in Florida, because it allows people to experience what it was like back in the day. And to have this quintessential roadside attraction still exist is just remarkable. My name is John Athanasson. I am 56 years old, and I am currently the Tourism Marketing Specialist for Florida's Adventure Coast Visitors Bureau. I was also the Marketing and Public Relations Manager for Weeki Wachee Springs State Park for 20 years. I've always thought Weeki Wachee was the real Florida. And people have often asked me, so why has it remained so long? Why has it existed when others have failed? What is the magic of this park? The centerpiece, I should say, is the first magnitude spring, where the mermaids perform. And where they perform is the mouth of the Weeki Wachee River. They're in 74-degree water that's 99.8% pure spring. There's 117 million gallons on average per day of gallons emitting from the aquifer. That makes the Weeki Wachee River, and this is where the mermaids perform. And you have a rare opportunity to view this first magnitude spring through the glass of the underwater theater, which is just remarkable. You don't have that anywhere else. And what makes this park so unique, it's the only theater of its kind in the entire world. No one will ever be able to duplicate what Weeki Wachee has here, because you're never going to be able to put a 400-seat theater into a natural spring. There are laws now, the environmental laws in place will not allow that. Back in the 50s, the laws didn't exist, so they were able to do that. When that curtain rises for the mermaid show, just the immensity of the spring, forget the mermaids even exist, just the spring itself is breathtaking. Now you throw in the magic of the Weeki Wachee mermaids, and that's what it is. It's the combination of the two. One cannot exist without the other. Back in the late 1990s, a friend of mine ended up being the manager here at Weeki Wachee Springs, and it was privately owned at that time. But it was suffering. It was on the verge of going bankrupt. They didn't have the attendance that they wanted, and so he invited me to come be the marketing and PR manager for the park. And I was a little hesitant, because I felt like during that time I had started my career at Universal Studios in Orlando, and was a promotions manager at Silver Springs Attraction in Ocala. But something with Weeki Wachee always had a fond place in my heart. I came here when I was a kid, and I really loved the old roadside attractions like Weeki Wachee. So I committed that I would give them 6 months to come and try to turn things around, and 20 years later, I was still here. When I first got here, it was people who owned the park. The investors were not putting any money back into the park to improve it. And the park was showing its wear. And it was on the verge of becoming extinct. And we didn't want to see that happen. We had asked the investors to donate the assets of the park, because the land was still owned by a local government agency, to donate all those assets to the city of Weeki Wachee, which existed at that time, which he did. But when he did that, we also inherited all the neglect that came with it. And so we created at that time a Save Our Tails campaign. And this was all before social media. So you really had to be creative in your marketing, especially when you had no money to market with. And through the contacts that I've had, in my experience leading up to my time here at Weeki Wachee, we were able to get on TV a lot, be in the news a lot about the plight of Weeki Wachee Springs, and we're here to save it. And eventually, in 2008, we were able to work with the state of Florida for Weeki Wachee to become Florida's newest state park. And that was such a relief. It was the greatest thing that could have happened to the park, because we knew the park was going to be here for generations to come for people to enjoy. Because Florida State Parks did a remarkable job saving it, putting money into it, but preserving the cultural significance of what Weeki Wachee has meant to Florida tourism for 75 years. This park, it's hard to get it out of your system.